Hello to all. Today we are going to study The Little Match Girl. It is written by Hans Christian Andersen, who was a Danish writer, best known for writing children's stories like The Little Mermaid and The Ugly Duckling. The Little Match Girl is a short story which was first published in 1845. It is based on the dreams and aspirations of a child who was dying out of cold and poverty as well as hunger. The story opens with a cold and dark last evening of the year. A poor girl is selling matchsticks in the dark and cold streets. She has lost her slippers and is shivering from cold. To protect herself from chilling cold, she takes shelter in a corner and sits down. To keep herself warm, she lights a matchstick. In the glow, she sees various pictures. Every time she lights a matchstick, she sees a dream, and as soon as it blows out, the dream vanishes. Let us read the story to find out what visions she saw. It was bitterly cold. Snow was falling, and darkness was gathering. For it was the last evening of the old year. It was New Year's Eve. In the cold and gloom, a poor little girl walked, bareheaded and barefoot, through the streets. She had been wearing slippers, it is true, when she left home, but what good were they? They had been her mother's, so you can imagine how big they were. So as I told you, the story begins with a poor little girl who is walking through the streets and she isn't much covered or wearing any slippers. The story also tells us that it is New Year's Eve and so there are celebrations and preparations going on for the New Year's Day. The little girl had lost them as she ran across the street to escape from two carriages that were being driven terribly fast. One slipper could not be found and a boy had run off with the other, saying that it would come in very handy as a cradle someday when he had children of his own. So in these lines we find out how she lost the two slippers which she had been wearing when she left her home. She lost one of them while crossing the road and the other one was stolen by a boy. So the little girl walked about the streets on her naked feet, which were red and blue with the cold. In her old apron, she carried a great many matches, and she had a packet of them in her hand as well. Nobody had brought any from her, and no one had given her a single penny all day. She crept along, shivering and hungry. The picture of misery, poor little thing. So this girl was walking on the streets barefooted, and she was wearing an apron, which is a kind of an overcoat. And in her pocket she was carrying a number of matches which she had brought to sell as to get some money from them. But till now she hadn't been able to sell any of those matches and she was just going by the streets. Being the winter season, she was shivering and hungry. The snowflakes fell on her long golden hair, which curled so prettily about her neck. But she did not think of her appearance now. Lights were shining in every window, and there was a glorious smell of roast goose in the street. For this was New Year's Eve, and she could not think of anything else. While passing by the streets, she could smell of the different preparations being made by people in their houses, which were going on for the New Year's Eve that day. And when she got these delicious smells in her nose, she couldn't think of anything else at that moment. She wasn't able to feel or think about the coldness around her. She huddled down in a heap in a corner formed by two houses, one of which projected further into the street than the other. But though she tucked her little legs up under her, she felt colder and colder. She did not dare to go home, for she had sold no matches and earned not a single penny. Her father would be sure to beat her, and besides, it was so cold at home, for they had nothing but the roof above them, and the wind whistled through that, even though the largest cracks were stuffed with straw and rags. So here we see that she had sat down in a corner which was formed by the joining of two houses, as one of the house was more projected out into the street, and she tucked her legs under her to keep herself a little warm. Though she was feeling cold, she was more worried because she hadn't been able to sell even a single match, and she knew that if she went home without any money, that is, without selling any matches, she would sure get beaten up by her father. And she knew that even if she went back home, her house won't be too warm to keep her comfortable. And so she felt that it would be better that she stayed in the streets, because she might be able to sell a few matches then, instead of going back home. Her thin hands were almost numb with cold. If she only dared pull just one match from the package, strike it on the wall, and warm her fingers. So this girl wished that if she could just take out one match and light it up so she could keep herself a little warm. Thinking this, she felt that it would be better that if she just took out one match and burnt it. She pulled out one. Scratch! How it spluttered and burnt! It had a warm, bright flame like a tiny candle when she held her hand over it. But what a strange light! It seemed to the little girl as if she was sitting in front of a great iron stove with polished brass knobs and brass ornaments. The fire burned so beautifully and gave out such a lovely warmth. Oh, how wonderful that was! The child had already stretched her feet to warm them too, when out went the flame, the stove vanished, and there she sat with the burnt match in her hand. So when this little girl burns her first matchstick, she feels that the light coming from the match was so warm as if she was sitting in front of a stove. And she could even imagine the stove having brass knobs and brass ornaments on it. The flame of that little match gave her such a lovely warmth and comfort that she stretched her legs a little bit so that she could warm her legs as well. But as she was trying to move a little bit more towards that flame, it immediately went out. The match was over and there was just the burnt matchstick left in her hand now. She struck another. It burnt clearly, and where the light fell upon the wall, the bricks became transparent like gauze. She could see right into the room, where a shining white cloth was spread on the table. It was covered with beautiful china, and in the center of it stood a roast goose, stuffed with prunes and apples, steaming deliciously. Now that she realized that a single matchstick could give her so much warmth and comfort, she decided that she would burn another matchstick to keep herself warm. When the light of the second matchstick fell on the wall behind her, she could feel that the wall behind her has now become transparent, and she imagined that she could look inside the room which was behind her. And she imagines that inside that room there's a large table kept in the room which has a white cloth spread on it. And there delicious meals have been spread on the table as part of the preparations for the New Year's Eve. Some white beautiful china, that is cutlery, bone china cutlery, was spread on the table. And in the center of the table she could also imagine a roast goose, which is a bird like a chicken. And a roast goose is usually the main meal of the dinners that are usually held at a New Year's Eve. And that goose had been stuffed with prunes and apples, and had been roasted very well, and that it was steaming at that time. And what was even more wonderful was that the goose hopped down from the dish, waddled across the floor with carving knife and fork in its back, waddled straight up to the poor child. Then out went the match, and nothing could be seen but the thick cold wall. So as this little girl was imagining the table and the delicious meals which are kept on the table, she also imagined that the goose which had been roasted and kept on the table had now got up and it had jumped out from the table and it had started walking on the floor. So while this roast goose is walking across the floor, it is moving towards its child, and there is a knife and a fork which have been pricked on its back, and that is, they were kept there for eating it. And the goose has started walking along with that knife and the fork towards this child. And while it was just about to reach this child, the matchstick went off. And the only thing that could be seen after that was just that wall behind her. So this was the second vision that she saw when she burnt the second matchstick. She struck another match, and suddenly she was sitting under the most beautiful Christmas tree. It was much larger and much lovelier than the one she had seen last year through the glass doors of the rich merchant's house. 1,000 candles lit up the green branches, and gaily colored balls like those in the shop windows looked down upon her. The little girl reached forward with both hands, then out went the match. The many candles on the Christmas tree rose higher and higher through the air, and she saw that they had now turned into bright stars. One of them fell, streaking the sky with light. So when this little girl lit the third match, she saw another beautiful vision in which she imagined that she was sitting under a large, beautiful Christmas tree, and it is beautifully decorated with different colored lights and balls hanging on it. And she compared it to the Christmas tree which she had seen in a rich merchant's house. So she felt that this Christmas tree was much better than the one that she had seen in that merchant's house. But when this little girl tried to touch it with both her hands, she moved her hands towards that tree. The matchstick went off, and she imagined that the Christmas tree has started going up into the sky. It has started to rise up gradually, and slowly it is moving into the sky and going so high up in the sky. She saw that the lights on the Christmas tree had now turned into stars, because it had gone so high up that she couldn't see the Christmas tree now. She could only see the lights on it, which appeared like the stars in the sky. Then she saw that one of the stars fell, and there was a streak of light in the sky. "Now someone is dying," said the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only one who had ever been good to her, but who was now dead, had said, "Whenever a star falls, a soul goes up to God." So when this little girl saw the star falling, she remembered what her grandmother had once told her, that whenever a star falls, it symbolizes that somewhere someone is dying, and the soul of that person is going towards God then. So this was the third vision that she saw on burning the third match. She struck another match on the wall. Once more there was light, and in the glow stood her old grandmother. Oh, so bright and shining, and looking so gentle, kind and loving. "Granny!" cried the little girl. "Oh, take me with you! I know you will disappear when the match is burnt out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the lovely roast goose, and the great glorious Christmas tree." On burning her third matchstick, she imagined her grandmother in front of her. She could see the face of her grandmother, which looked so kind, gentle, and loving. And her grandmother was the only person who loved and cared for her, and so she cried out to her granny, and she also asked her granny to take her along with her. She knew that as soon as the matchstick is burnt out, she will disappear, and she did not want that, because she loved her grandmother so much, and she wanted to be with her. But now, because her grandmother had now died, she couldn't meet her ever again. So this was her last chance of being with her. Then she quickly struck all the rest of the matches she had in the packet, for she did so want to keep her grandmother with her. Then immediately she struck all of the matches that she had in her packet, because she wanted her grandmother to be with her, and she did not want that vision to ever end. The matches flared up with such a blaze that it was brighter than broad daylight, and her old grandmother had never seemed so beautiful. or so stately before. She took the little girl in her arms and flew with her high up, oh, so high, towards joy and glory. Now they knew neither cold, nor hunger, nor fear, for they were both with God. So, because this little girl wanted to be with her grandmother and she did not want that vision to end, she started flaring up all the matches that she had, and soon there was a very bright light, and now she could see her grandmother's face even clearer. The little girl wanted to be with her grandmother, so she spread her arms towards her and held her so tightly, and imagined that she was moving up high towards the sky, holding her grandmother. They had now gone to a place where they would feel neither cold nor hunger or any fear of anybody, because they had now gone to God. So, this was the fourth and the last vision that the little girl saw on burning the matchsticks. When all the matches are lit up, the child has died and is taken up to heaven by her grandmother. But in the cold dawn, in the corner formed by the two houses, sat the little girl with rosy cheeks and smiling lips, dead, frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. The dawn of the new year rose on the huddled figure of the girl. She was still holding the matches, and half a packet had been burnt. So the next morning, when the passers by look at her face, it seems frozen with a smile, and they believe that the girl must have died due to the bitter cold last evening. In her hands, she was still holding the matches, and half of the packet had been burnt. So the people who were going from that place, the passers-by, they started making comments about what must have happened. They were making some guesses as to what the situation might have been. And they say, she was evidently trying to warm herself, people said, but no one knew what beautiful visions she had seen and in what a blaze of glory she had entered with her dear old grandmother into the heavenly joy and gladness of a new year. So, on seeing the little girl and the condition in which they found her, they could only think that the girl must have been trying to warm herself, and that is why she had burnt all the matches. But no one had any idea about the beautiful visions which she might have seen last night before going to heaven, and how bright that place had become, and what a beautiful scene must have been when she was with her grandmother and she was going to heaven. And they had no idea how that girl must have entered her new year, because for these people new year has come and they are still on earth, but the little girl has left earth, and they have no idea what the little girl might have gone through the last night. They feel pity for her without knowing the amazing visions she saw before her death. They can't imagine that she is celebrating the new year joyously with her grandmother in the heaven. So these are the four visions that the little girl had seen in last night while burning the matches that she had in her pocket. We'll just quickly do a revision of the four visions that she had seen. At first, she saw herself sitting in front of a great iron stove, as she was in need of warmth at that time. Then second, she saw lavish food laid on the table, which showed her need for food. So this indicated she was feeling cold as well as she was feeling hungry. And so when a person is hungry, he does imagine foods of different kinds. In her third vision, she saw a beautiful Christmas tree depicting her desire for celebrations. So this shows that she also wanted to celebrate with the others around her. And in the last vision, she saw her grandmother, whom she pleaded her to take to heaven, as she was left alone after her. Because after her grandmother's death, she was completely lonely and had nobody to take care of her or love her. So at the end of the story, we do find that the last wish of the girl was fulfilled.